Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Marcus Rosa, aka MAZUMA TV. Back at y'all with some more boxing talk, man. I hope everybody's having a blessed, beautiful, positive, productive night. Hope you had a great day overall, man. I'm back at y'all with some more boxing talk. We're going to be speaking about Jaron Ennis versus Sebastian Fundora possibly being next for late 2026. We're going to be getting into Xander Zayas having to make a choice between doing an immediate rematch with Jaron Ennis or moving to the 160-pound division. Then, of course, we're going to get into some open boxing topics. But before we get into all of that, if y'all could please hit the like button on the way in, that'll be very much appreciated. We on the road to 4K. We well into the 3,500 mark. We should hit that 3,600 mark tonight. Shout out to the nation and the mob for making this possible. What's going on? What's going on? I already see the comments in the building. Doughboy Ego, what up? He said, Boots Ennis has to tighten up on defense because when he attacks his opponents, he leaves himself open for counter punches, especially when he exchanges punches that are to be his main focus. Well, whenever you're throwing combinations, you're susceptible to counters. So I don't even understand what your point is. You said when he attacks his opponents, which means when he's being offensive, he leaves himself open for counter punches. So you are most vulnerable as you're throwing punches. That's what makes the counter puncher such an effective style in the sport of boxing. So I do think that that's a pretty lazy observation, to be honest with you, because, you know, if I'm throwing a combination at you, I mean, you could do little subtle things to make yourself safer in terms of like taking your head off the line and you or bringing the opposite hand over here or keeping the opposite hand up tight, but you're always available for counters when you're in the middle of throwing a combination. Doughboy said Boots can't afford to do this against Fundora or Virgil Ortiz with these punch exchanges. Now, listen, like I said, this is boxing. You feel what I'm saying? And is there room for improvement for Jaron Ennis? Absolutely. But there's no such thing as a perfect fighter. And Boots knows that. He says that after the post-fight press conference. He gave himself a C-plus performance. So he wasn't satisfied with how the way things went. I guess he didn't like the fact that, he got rattled by a shot. So, he's going to go back into the gym, continue perfecting his defense and, being more calculated with his moves. As you step up in competition, there's got to be things that you got to tighten up on. And you can't have the same approach with everybody. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So Boots is still a student of the sport. Obviously, he's holding himself accountable. So I expect to see improvements from an already great fighter, in my opinion. So, can he afford, that's your opinion. If he can't afford to do that against Fundora, Virgil Ortiz are very dangerous opponents. And who knows if they land a big shot on Boots, things might go left. I don't know. But one thing I do know is they can't afford to get hit by Jaron Ennis neither. You're talking about somebody, and I just find it funny how everybody just so concerned for the well-being of Jaron Ennis. He'll get hurt if this happens. But the guys that y'all putting him up against either got put to sleep in previous fights or got dropped or hurt multiple times. Fundora damn near got put to sleep against Brian Mendoza. You know what I'm saying? He rattled off a couple wins against, guys who weren't on his level. Then all of a sudden, this dude Sebastian Fundora is just like this impossible character to beat in the sport of boxing. I just think that's hilarious to me. And then Virgil Ortiz is like phenomenal fighter. Good punching power, good speed, good volume, pressure, all of that. Virgil, in my opinion, is the most dangerous opponent for Jaron Ennis at 154. That's just me. And then Fundora is right behind that. But we seen Virgil Ortiz getting exchanges with guys and, get hurt, get knocked down. You know what I'm saying? But you seen Boots get rattled, just like how Floyd Mayweather has done in the past, just like how, Terrence Crawford has gotten hurt in the past, Andre Ward has gotten hurt in the past. A lot of these fighters get, wobbled. You know what I mean? But what matters at the end of the day is what happens after the fact. How do you make that adjustment? The shit already happened. How are you going to be able to make the adjustment? You know what I'm saying? But I just think that Black American fighter standards are so high that regardless of how well they perform, they just never seem to meet these unrealistic detractors' standards. I think that's just what it comes down to at the end of the day. Is there room for improvement? Yes. But, I think a lot of people are focusing on the negatives when in reality, Jaron Ennis had a phenomenal performance. There's a reason why he's now ranked #1 in the Ring magazine. And I just found it so funny. Virgil was just flexing that he was #1 in the Ring magazine, and now Boots is now #1. So I thought that shit was funny. And then he just cracked the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? So Much props to Jaron Ennis for that. I think he was like number 9 or whatever the case is. Well deserved. You know what I mean? Both weight classes that you campaigned in, you ended up becoming the number 1 guy. You beat the other champion in the division at 147, got a Ring Magazine belt, became a lineal champion. At 154, you were able to take out, the unified champion, one of the most action-packed divisions in the sport of boxing. So you got to give you much props for that. But let me go ahead and continue to go on in the comments. Jay Cash, what up? Kabara Train, what up? Asing, Chris Maldonado. Hey, yo, Dizzy, what up? Jay, what's going on? Definitely like, share, subscribe, comment. Absolutely. Technique Wise Guy, what up? Jay said, being offensive, period, makes you vulnerable. That's a fact. Marky Dan, what up? You have to be on his P's and Q's versus Virgil. Absolutely. Nasia, what up? SOB TV. Millennia. This girl be trolling. She is the biggest troll. Who else? Who else in the building? No, Ego. Don't interpret my response as me saying that you're a hater or anything like that, bro. You're entitled to your opinion just like everybody else, brother. I didn't even say that I disagree with you. I just felt like, that could apply to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect fighter. There's definitely things Boots has to tighten up on, or at least maintain a longer focus on when you're in the ring with stiffer competition, in my opinion, and Virgil Ortiz. I don't think he's like much more skilled than Xander or anything like that, but he does have some things that make him more dangerous than Xander. You know what I mean? Xander's more skilled, but I feel like Virgil's more dangerous because Virgil, for one, he comes out guns blazing. He's relentless with his pressure. He's relentless with his offense. He always comes in phenomenal shape. And he could punch, man. So, you know what I mean? And he has good finishing ability. You know what I mean? He has great finishing ability. So these things, Boots has to be aware of. I'm sure he's been studying them because he's been trying to fight him for a long time. So I think Boots will be ready. I think he'll understand the magnitude of the situation and how, he can't play certain games with them type of dudes. You know what I mean? You got to have a more calculated, a more locked in, a more focused type of approach. And I think if Boots does that, and I think he brings more technicality to the ring with him. I think if he fights a more disciplined fight, I think he'll blow Virgil out of the water. I think the only thing that could fuck him over in the Virgil Ortiz fight is if he's slacking or something, if he's underestimating something, if he gets too comfortable, if he loses focus. I think his approach is what's going to determine the outcome of the fight, because I do think that Jaron Ennis is a better fighter than Virgil. I think he's more versatile. I think he's a better boxer. I think he's faster than him. I think he actually punches harder than Virgil Ortiz, but Virgil just got like an unlimited clip, it seems like. You know what I'm saying? And I think Boots is just as good as a finisher as Virgil, if not better. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's anything that Virgil does that jumps off the page to make me feel like Jaron Ennis is like really in trouble. But if Boots goes in there, he has the hands down and he's relying on his reflexes to, slip shots, or he stands directly on the center line and waits for Virgil to get a shot off that he doesn't time. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you could be in trouble. If you play with fire long enough, eventually you're going to get burnt. You feel what I'm saying? So I think if Boots brings to the table a more calculated approach, a more technical approach, he could make easy work of Virgil and actually stop him. I think Boots has the accuracy. I think he has the counter punching ability, and I think he has the overall speed and power to really bust up Virgil Ortiz, man. Like we seen guys with lesser attributes have effective offense against Virgil. So why wouldn't Boots be capable of doing so? Everybody keeps pointing out, the negatives that Boots has, but nobody's pointing out the negatives that Xander Zayas had in the lead up to the fight that I saw, that I was trying to tell everybody about, but nobody wanted to listen because they were more focused on what if Boots loses, instead of just thinking about, both sides of the coin, seeing what both guys bring to the table, what their pros or their cons are. You know what I'm saying? Like, here we go again. We're talking about Virgil and Boots, which is one of the biggest fights to be made in boxing today. But everybody keeps talking about what Boots does wrong. You know what I mean? Everybody keep talking about what Boots does wrong. And that just goes to show you that subconsciously they know that Boots is the superior fighter. They know that he may actually be the favorite, or somebody that they may believe can beat Virgil, or, whatever the case is. So they want to focus on the guy who brings more to the table, who is overall the better fighter. But at the end of the day, man, when we're doing breakdowns and thinking about fight stylistically, you know what I mean? We gotta cut it. We gotta cut it straight down the middle. We gotta keep it real with ourselves. You know what I mean? We gotta talk about what Virgil does well, what he doesn't do well. We gotta talk about what Boots does well, what he doesn't do well at. You know what I mean? And from there, then you're able to formulate an opinion. That's why, for the most part, my predictions, don't be too far off from reality, because I call it straight down the middle. If there was a situation where I ever felt like a fight was an uphill battle for Boots, regardless of whether he's my favorite fighter or not, I'm gonna call it like I see it. Same shit applies to David Benavidez. Same shit applies to Ban Rodriguez. Those are my three favorite active fighters in the sport right now. I mean, Abdullah Mason on the come up. I can't wait to see him fight this weekend. We definitely gonna talk about that. There's a lot of good fighters, that I fuck with. But, there's been times where I'll be like, yo, this is going to be a tough one. Or I think this guy, a guy that I like may possibly lose this fight. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. De'Aaron Fox says, why he coming at Boots? Who's coming at Boots? Tank? Man, listen, Tank is an insecure idiot. You feel me? I don't really care to speak about him too much because, we went back and forth on the DM and he was saying all this goofy shit, making threats and, just trying to scare people. And that may work for a bitch ass nigga or somebody that's, a fanboy of yours, but I never gave a fuck about Tank. You know what I'm saying? I respected his work. I respected his skill set and shit like that. But I was never one of them dudes that be like, yo, man, that nigga Tank, man. Yo, son about Tank, man. Man, I love how the way he dressed, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that dude got swag, man. He the face of pop. Bro, ain't nobody, bro, I'm a grown-ass man that got my own motion, got my own shit going on. Last thing I'm going to do is glaze another man, bro. That's, that's Caitlyn Jenner behavior. You feel me? Like, I don't get into none of that. And like I said on Twitter, that nigga Tank is the textbook definition of a bitch-ass nigga. You get overly emotional. You get mad when niggas ain't dick riding you like he a blade or something, bro. Like, I never seen somebody be so upset that somebody's not on their dick. It's like, why do you want men to be on your dick so bad? You feel me? Like that type of shit is weird to me. Like I wouldn't give a fuck if a nigga rocked with me or not, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That shit don't affect what I got going on, bro. And then if I'm Tank, like, bro, I'm successful. You know what I mean? I made it out of one of the toughest areas to be out of in the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, I overcame all the odds. I would be so happy with my life if I was Tank. I got beautiful kids. You know what I'm saying? I haven't boxed in almost 2 years, and look, I'm doing well. You know what I'm saying? Like I would feel blessed if I was Tank, but this dude is so unsatisfied. You can tell he's so miserable that and so emotional, so emotionally unstable that he lashes out against people who don't put money in his pockets. You should be thanking the fans every chance you get, because all you ever gave fans was bullshit fights. Yeah, like he's a blade. In Philly, that means, you know what I'm saying, you go that way. Like you like dick. You feel me? That's we call when a nigga's a blade, that means they like penis. That's what I'm referring to. For those of y'all who don't know what that slang means. But yeah, like he's such a miserable person. And you know what I'm saying? It sucked that he gotta live like that. And that just goes to show you that money don't make you happy, man. You know what I mean? You might be happy the moment that you get it, but once you sit, you let that shit marinate. You know what I mean? That shit damn near end up becoming meaningless. He not happy. You know what I'm saying? He don't like the situation that he in. He hate the fact that he not getting respect like everybody else is, because they out here rolling the dice while he's scared too. He want to get all the praise in the world, don't put in no work. This nigga want all the stripes, but he don't want to earn them. Like, he's a weirdo. Oh, there's no like about it. He is. I mean, he act like it. Maybe that's why he got so much built up frustration. Maybe that's why he's so miserable, because he just scared to pop out that closet. You know what I'm saying? But yo, Tank, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You got what's today? You know what I'm saying? You got, yo, listen, it's still Pride Month, Tank. You still got today, June 29th. You still got 24 hours to let the people know exactly who you is. Trust me. Once you let that, that fear go, because we all know that you're a fearful person. You scared to do a lot of things in your life. One of them is taking chances, but another thing is coming out of that closet. You feel what I'm saying? So if you go ahead and you reveal to the people who you truly are, man, you might be in a much happier place. You know what I mean? Get that monkey off your back. You know what I mean? You feel all right. You know what I mean? You probably see some type of change in your life. Shit might start getting better for you, man. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Let me see what the people talking about in the comments. My fault. I got caught. I started talking off rip. Shout out to the 44 people that's in the building, man. I appreciate you guys very much. Let me see. Who said they got a question? Bro, if y'all not sending super chats, the comments is flying, so I can't really see them. Super chats get sent in a different section, so I'm able to see that. But besides that, I do get lost in the comments, man. Let me see. Let me see what the people talking about. A Sing got a question. Let me see what a Sing talking about. Where's Sing? See, I can't see. I don't even see a comment. Okay, let me see. Mark, do you believe Boots got better after Xander, especially with the third round and being buzzed and coming back instead of blowing Xander out in 2 rounds? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Because that's an experience that Boots probably never experienced before in boxing. You know what I'm saying? That was a scenario that I guess you would say was unique to him. So maybe that was a wake-up call. You know what I mean? Some people go about it different ways. There's people who may experience that and be like, oh, well, I won, so fuck it, it is what it is, and they go past it. And, there's other people that are like, yo, that was a little bit of a scary situation. I don't want to experience that again. So let me go back in the lab and tighten some shit up so we can prevent from happening that happening in the future. Experience is the key to progression and anything that you do in life. So as far as I'm concerned, with Boots going through that scenario, it may have given Boots more confidence than what he already had, because that gave him some reassurance that even when buzzed, even when rocked, hurt, whatever you want to call it, he still was able to maintain a level of composure. He was able to recover pretty quick, in my opinion, and it didn't throw off what he had his mindset to do. He still was ripping shots with explosiveness, with power, with speed, with accuracy. I even thought he hurt Xander at the end of the round that Xander hurt him in. After watching the film back, I didn't notice it in person, but I did notice it on TV. And he didn't really give Xander much opportunities outside of that round. And I don't think Boots is getting enough credit for that adjustment he made defensively. Although he still was getting hit, he wasn't getting hit with those big shots. We didn't see Boots get wobbled again. We didn't see him in La La Land or buzzed or get knocked down, cut, bleed, and bruised. Like we didn't see those things. So I think Boots should get more credit for the performance that he had. It was a phenomenal performance, in my opinion. But detractors gonna be detractors. Critics gonna be critics. And like AB done said some years back, critics is like assholes. Everybody got them. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my boy Jalil Aziz with the $5 super chat, man. I appreciate all of the love and the consistent support. He said, Tanks needs to know money can't unlame a lame. That's exactly what I told him in the DM too. And you could tell that shit kind of pissed him off. He read my earlier DMs, but he didn't respond. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man, it is what it is, bro. And I don't mean no ill will towards Tank. Like, I don't got no beef with him. I just don't agree with the way he be moving. And I doubt he gives a fuck. The nigga don't know me. But as a boxer fan, I have the right to speak on how I feel a fighter's moving and whether I agree with it or not. I don't like the way he moves in boxing. I think that his approach to boxing is very detrimental and cancerous to the sport of boxing. Because Tank, whether we like it or not, is an influential figure in boxing. You know what I mean? A lot of people like him. A lot of people identify and gravitate towards him for whatever reason. And they may think that his way of moving, his thought process is, the way to move. You know what I'm saying? They may think that that is the thing to do. And they'll go ahead, and when they're in position to be that next big star, they prevent from making the big fights happen, just like Tank. So I don't really agree with the way he moves. I've been very critical of him based off of the way he moves. And, have I said personal things towards Tank? Yeah, but he's also said personal shit towards me. So why would I, I don't feel guilty for responding the way I did. You know what I'm saying? Bella said the voice notes he sent Tank were funny as fuck. Watch yesterday's show if you didn't. Yeah, I was talking to him. You know what I'm saying? My boy Richard Todman, what's going on, brother? Yo, Richard Todman, one of the most positive people on the channel, man. He's always speaking me up and speaking well on my name. I really appreciate you, brother. Every comment you put out there does not go unnoticed. You know what I mean? I've been having some tweets that have been going viral, and I'm getting all types of threats. I had to mute notifications. Like, these dudes is weird, bro. But one thing about Richard Topman, he always speaks well on my name. So I'm highly appreciative of you, brother. Thank you very much. He said the professor of boxing talk, Mr. Mazuma. I appreciate that. You can call me Mark, though, brother. You know what I'm saying? Mazuma TV is just the name of the channel. My name is Mark, but I appreciate whatever you prefer to call me, as long as you're being respectful. My boy Jake Cash in the building. Bella Faith says she's super proud of Boots. Yeah, you used to be going against Boots a little bit, Bella, but I like the fact that you coming around and that you keep it real. Bella Faith, one of the realest. She definitely one of the realest. She don't be hiding. You know what I mean? She always pop out. She say her opinion. She stand on her opinion. If shit go her way, she be like, I told y'all shit don't go her way. She be like, yo, I was wrong. I respect people like that, man, because you know how many people delete channels because they scared to face accountability or eat crow or prove that they wrong. It's a lot of cowardly people out here, and Bella ain't one of them. So salute to the sister. Jay Cash said, Boots really did well the entire fight, but we keep mentioning the third round because people focus on the negatives, Jay. You know what I mean? People focus on the negatives, and usually when they focus on the negatives, it's because they're negative people, or they're nitpicking. They're trying to find something negative to say. You know, was it a moment? Absolutely. We can't ignore the fact that it happened. Yeah, it was one of the standout moments of the fight. But to just magnify that situation and act like nothing else happened, you know, you would think that Boots lost how the way these guys are magnifying it. You know, as much as you're going to magnify, you know, the moment where Boots had gotten, you know, rocked, hurt, whatever the case is, you should also, if you're keeping it real and being objective, pointing out the fact that Boots was able to bounce back from that, make the adjustment, not really give Xander much big opportunities like that again, and then actually come back around 2 rounds later and get a nasty knockdown. You know what I'm saying? E. Holla said Boots lost 1 round. That's how I saw it. That's exactly what we saw. You know what I mean? Because, you know, after that, in the 4th round, you know, Boots and Xander, you know, they were exchanging, but Boots was getting the better of that. The 5th round, we know what happened. The 6th round, Boots coasted a little bit. You know what I mean? He took the 6th round off, but still was in control of the fight, dictating the pace, landing the cleaner, harder, effective shots, you know, being more defensively responsible. Xander was getting hit in combinations throughout the entire course of the fight. You feel me? I think the 3rd round, the only round I saw where Boots got hit like back to back to back. Everything else, like Boots was still being sharp. You know what I mean? I would like to see Boots take a more technical approach, man. You know what I mean? I think at this point, since you're facing higher level guys that, you know, are a bit more accurate, you know what I mean? You got to bring your hands back, Boots. You know what I'm saying? You can still have that flashiness. You can still have that showmanship, but you could also, you could throw in the being technical, because we know Boots could do it. We see Boots be super technical in there, but I think it's a level of consistency that needs to be had that could really make him even more dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what I think. Sean Terrence said Boots and the 3rd round is talked about more than, I guess you would say, NUA and Bam getting dropped. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, we seen NUA hit the canvas. We seen Usyk have a tough fight against a kickboxer, and these are top pound for pound level guys. You know what I'm saying? We seen Dimitri Bivol, you know, lose a fight and then come back and win. You know, but they don't really magnify those things because those guys, they don't really care too much about. See, when these guys, all they want to talk about is this person and talk negatively on this person, they're indirectly admitting that this dude is one of the best in the world. They just don't want him to have that shine. They don't want him to have that moment. You know what I mean? Because there may be other guys that they're rooting for that they want to supersede Jaron Ennis. You know what I'm saying? I see a bunch of Tank fans now. They talking shit about Boots. I mean, how the fuck you gonna pick Shakur to beat Tank, man? He should have just kept it real. He should have just said that he's not choosing. You know what I mean? He could have just said, bro, Boots could say whatever the fuck he want. What is wrong with y'all niggas? Like, y'all niggas defend whatever the fuck Tank do. So Tank is upset because Boots said, and at first he said, yo, the fight 50-50, I don't know. But the dude kept pressing him. Nah, you got to pick one. You got to pick one, Boots. You got to pick one. And Boots was like, man, that's tough. That's 50-50. But he said it. He was like, yo, it's 50-50. But, you know what I mean? I'll just go with Shakur. That shit set Tank off, and Tank like, yeah, man, you know what I mean? I'll take everything personal. He's saying that like a whole ass nigga. I'll take everything personal. So he's admitting that he's emotional. He's in his feelings. He don't like what's being said. He chose that side. Like, you would think that Boots was his fucking man's. Boots don't owe you nothing, nigga. You not his homie. Yeah, then you telling the nigga, man, he could have easily just, you know what I mean? He could have just kept it. He could have just kept it neutral. You know what I mean? He didn't have to pick Shakur. Yeah, he didn't have to pick Shakur, but he did. So what the fuck is the problem? Have you ever made a fight prediction before, dickhead? So if they ask Tank, yo, who wins between fucking Boots and Virgil, and he go ahead and he say Virgil, you think Boots gonna be sitting there like, he didn't pick me? No, nigga, he gonna be like, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. That's the difference. That's how a man moves. If a man gets doubted, they gonna do whatever they can to prove you. They're gonna use that as fuel to go ahead and prove you wrong. You know, at the end of the day, bitch ass niggas like Tank, they gonna sit there, whine and cry about it, and then disrespect you because they feel like that's what's gonna make them feel better. That's whole shit. That's whole shit. If a nigga doubt you, you could be a bitch ass nigga and cry about it, or you could use that as fuel to motivate you and go ahead and do what the fuck you need to do to prove them wrong, so you can come back and be like, should have picked me, nigga. Don't ever doubt me again. That's the real way to go about that shit. When niggas was doubting Terrence Crawford in the Errol Spence fight, you know what I mean? Charlemagne was doubting him. He said, "Oh, Errol Spence gonna get him and shit." What Terrence Crawford do? He shut the fuck up. He used that as fuel to go into this to his training camp. He beat the shit out of Errol Spence Jr. Then he went back on the Breakfast Club and sat on Charlemagne's throne and was like, "Yeah, nigga, like that. Now what?" And then Charlemagne was like, "Yo, man, you proved me wrong." Like, you know what I mean? Like, salute. That's how you go about shit. And if Tank had a fucking real dad in his life, he could have, you know what I mean, been sat down and schooled on some shit. But, you know, not everybody's blessed with that, man. You feel what I mean? So it is what it is. Not shitting on him for not having a father or, you know, a strong role father figure. But, you know, these things do happen, man. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, our community is plagued with deadbeat fathers or, you know, bitter mothers who try to take fathers out of the picture. Or, you know, we also have drugs that plague our community that, you know, it becomes such an addiction that nothing else matters. So a lot of children get abandoned in the process. I'm really well aware of that. I've seen that with my own eyes. I come from one of the worst neighborhoods in, you know what I'm saying, the country. You feel what I'm saying? So I done seen it all. I done seen it all, heard it all. But anyways, yeah. Braden said Calvin Ford been like a father to him. And look how the way he treating Calvin, disrespecting Calvin, you know, every chance he get, went ahead and he talking about, oh, Calvin ain't make me, I made myself. Oh, I walked to the gym on my own. Bro, Calvin, the reason why you was able to find your purpose in life, you dumbass nigga. You was in foster homes. Your parents chose drugs over you. You know what I'm saying? Their drug habits was so bad that you had to jump from foster home to foster home. And you know what I mean? You ended up coming across the sport of boxing. You know, motherfucking Coach Calvin directed you. You know what I mean? He stood with you. He sacrificed lots of years of his life. You know what I'm saying? Putting his time and into you, probably spent a whole lot of money on you, and that's how you gonna treat that nigga because he like to do some interviews here and there and be opinionated. You a nut ass nigga, bro. And you know, for Tank to be going around talking about, oh, I'm loyal to Al Heyman, I'm loyal to Al Heyman. You know, I'll fuck with who I fuck with. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Acting like everybody disloyal for leaving Al, but you left a nigga that was before you, before Al Heyman. You dumbass nigga. Al Heyman ain't start coming around till he saw that there was money signs around you, nigga. Calvin was rocking with you when you was dead broke. Dirty little light-skinned nigga out of Baltimore, nigga. He was rocking with you since then. You got a couple dollars now. You think you could talk to anybody however the fuck you want. See, these niggas get in certain positions and think they fucking gods. These niggas develop God complexes and shit. Niggas be hoes. I don't even know how niggas could like Tank. Because it's like, bro, how could you rock with a nigga who move like that? Like as a nigga who got testosterone, a nigga who got nuts, a nigga who, you know, takes pride in their masculinity. How could you rock with a nigga like Tank? Y'all gotta have some feminine characteristics. This shit is insane. My boy Trix sent the $2 super chat, said, peep my last comment. Let me go ahead and check that out. Shout out to my boy Trix for supporting the channel. The boy Trix said, where's it at? Let me see. Tricks. Damn, bro. I'm trying to tell you, there's a lot of comments. Trick said, if Ortiz gets Boots on the back foot, is able to cut off the ring and not give Boots any room to set up shots from different angles, it could be very interesting. I mean, absolutely, but that's easier said than done, brother. One of the things is he could get Boots on the back foot, but I think Boots is pretty comfortable on the back foot. And one thing about him, while he's on the back foot, he has a very effective jab. So, he could attempt to cut off the ring, but with as active as Boots is, and how the way he's able to keep people at the end of his jab, the combination punching and the footwork, you know what I'm saying? I could see him punching and turning Virgil all night and slowly breaking him down with the accuracy. But yeah, if Virgil is able to take that approach, like if he's able to do that successfully and land some good shots on Boots, yeah, it could get very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not far-fetched that Virgil could have some success in the fight. I just think Boots has enough to beat him up and stop him. I think Boots could stop Fundora and Virgil. I think he's fully capable, and I'm very confident that he can. A Saint says, Mark, do you think Boots need to bring someone else in? I respect the Bootsy, but it just seemed like he don't listen. Thoughts? Maybe Breadman. I mean, I can't speak on that. You know what I'm saying? I think that, you know what I'm saying, Boots has had a lot of success with his father, and he also has a lot of knowledgeable people that's around him that's also, giving him some game. Boots got a good team, man. His brothers are actively involved in his training camps, Farah and Pooh Ennis. I mean, they're very experienced pro boxers. You know what I mean? He has a good strength and conditioning coach by the name of Coach Altaf. I see Coach Reg being there. You know what I mean? Giving him some game. I see Greg Hackett coming through and showing love sometimes. Boots got a good support system, so I don't think there's necessarily a need to, add somebody to the team or just replace Bozy overall. I think Boots is knowledgeable enough, and I think his team is knowledgeable enough to know exactly what needs to be done in order to improve their game. And I think that this isn't something that a trainer could fix when it comes to discipline, when it comes to focus, when it comes to, following instructions. That's an internal situation. You know what I mean? That's not nothing that a coach could fix. That's nothing that somebody outside of yourself can fix. That's something that needs to change within you. You know what I mean? And Boots a grown ass man. You feel what I'm saying? So can't nobody make Boots listen, as either he's going to listen or he's not. He needs to make that choice within himself. Am I going to listen to my team, or am I going to take control of my destiny and do whatever it is I feel like is in my best interest? That's the question that Boots got to ask himself. And if he's going to listen, then, you'll see the adjustments being made. And if he doesn't listen, then, there's nothing that could really be done about it. This is an individual sport. This ain't like basketball where if a nigga tweaking or he not going against the, he's not going with the flow of things, you know what I mean? A coach could sit that motherfucker down and make him think about his decisions. And boxing, it's just you in there. So, you know what I'm saying? It's ultimately up to you. I don't think a team is necessary. I don't think an extra coach is necessary. It's an adjustment that he needs to make mentally. It sounds like it's an internal. These are internal things, and I don't think a coach could fix that within Boots. Only Boots could fix his approach mentally. You know what I'm saying? Mano y mano, absolutely. Maurice Terry. I hope I said your name right, brother. He says, Mazuma question. What if Haney had evasiveness and upper body movement of Pernell Whitaker inside game like Duran and power of Julian Jackson? How good a fighter think he would be? I mean, you just named some of the fucking greatest fighters of all time. So if Haney had the defense of Pernell Whitaker, who's one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time, Roberto Duran, who's one of the best inside fighters of all time, and Julian Jackson, that's one of the greatest pound-for-pound punchers of all time. It's destined for Devin Haney to be one of the greatest boxers to lace him up. That's what it sounds like to me. If you give anybody those abilities, they bound to do great things. So that's a bit of a funny comment, but yeah. I mean, if Devin Haney had those qualities, he'd be damn near unbeatable. That's what it sounds like to me. Shout out to Maurice Terry. Yeah, he definitely made Devin a creative player. Yes, he did. This nigga put all the game sliders up on Dev for sure. Boxer Sparring said, Jesus Ramos versus Xander Zayas at 160. That's a good fight. That's definitely a good fight. You know what I'm saying? We definitely gonna speak about Xander Zayas. You know, is he gonna go in for the immediate rematch and go to 160 pounds? I'm thinking he's gonna go to 160 pounds. And the reason why I'm very confident that he does so is because of his post-fight interview. When he was saluting Boots and giving him credit for his victory and shit like that, he was very, very respectful and great sportsmanship between both guys. It was a beautiful thing to see after seeing a fucking firefight, man. Um, Xander told Boots, go ahead and take over 54, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that doesn't sound like somebody to me who is willing to run shit back. It sounds like this is somebody who at that moment decided to close that chapter at 154 pounds. That's just an assumption. I don't know that definitively to be a fact. He did say after the weigh-in, or at least the day before the weigh-in, they said, how much longer are you going to be at 154? He said, as long as my body permits. So maybe he'll stick around. I don't know. I don't think it's really any point of Xander sticking around. He's a big dude. From what I heard, he rehydrated into the 180s for the fight. So if you're rehydrating 26 pounds, man, in 24 hours, that's your body telling you that you should be at a higher weight. You know what I'm saying? That means that your body has significantly outgrown the weight class. Like Boots, for instance, they said Boots came in like 168. You know what I mean? Like 168 putting on 14 pounds, that's not bad. You feel what I'm saying? That's actually a good little rehydration. It's not too much, you know what I mean? It ain't too light. So that just goes to show you that Boots is, rehydrating properly, and he is built for the weight class at the same time. Xander, on the other hand, you know what I'm saying? They said between 180 to 183 pounds. That's a lot of fucking weight to put on, man. And that could take a toll on your body, man. Losing all of that weight, putting it back on, that's a lot of stress on the body. I think Xander's best choice is to go up to 160. You know what I mean? Get 2 or 3 fights in the division or whatever the case is, then go ahead and fight for another world title. You know what I'm saying? You got Erislandy Lara, who's on the way out. You know, he may retire at any moment, and he didn't really look impressive in his last fight. You know, that'll probably be Lara's farewell fight with Xander Zayas. And Lara's still knocking shit out, so he's very dangerous. You got John Beck. I really wouldn't trust John Beck, to be honest with you, just because of his past with being a drug cheat. I wouldn't even look in that direction, to be honest. But it seems like John Beck's contemplating going up to 168 anyway. Carlos Adames has been looking for fights at 168 as well. So this division might just open up for Xander. You know what I'm saying? And considering the fight he just had with Jaron Ennis, there's going to be a heavy anticipation for Xander's comeback fight. So, Xander's going to be good, man. He's going to be good. And he's going to get much more opportunities. Sound like his big ass need to go to 168. Nah, 68 would probably be a little bit too much for him. I think eventually he definitely gets there and when he hits his 30s, that's for sure, or late 20s. But as of right now, 160 will be a good move up for him. That 6 pounds would do him a lot of justice. He'll continue to fill in, and it's less stress on the body, man. I just think that's the smartest thing to do. And Xander's young; he's 23 years old, but he's advanced for this. He's an advanced 23-year-old. So you know what I mean. You can't really hold his hand no more. He got to make big boy. He got to make grown man moves. It is what it is. I think Xander will be champion again too. I think at 160 he could definitely grab a world title. He could definitely do that. And Top Rank is going to make sure that they put him back in that position because he has a lot of potential. He has a lot of potential to be a star, even if he's not like this pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. He signed with Bad Bunny's management company. They're marketing him very well. I'm seeing him modeling for like clothing brands, like luxury clothing brands, and he took part in a Super Bowl commercial. He's being recognized in rap songs from famous Spanish artists like Mike Towers, and he's well respected amongst his people in the country of Puerto Rico, or Puerto Rico. So I think Xander will be all right, man. And as much people as he had at the Barclays, the Puerto Ricans, obviously they weren't happy with the outcome, but they didn't really leave upset neither. You know, they allowed a lot of these Puerto Ricans, man, they were proud of Xander, how the way he carried that fight. He didn't go out like no hoe. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he gave it everything he had. You see me? So, you know, the Puerto Ricans respected that about him, man. I don't really think his stock diminished at all. I think if anything, he became more popular after that night. Mardo Taraji says, Mazuma salute. Do you think Vila was more durable than Xander when Boots fought him? I guess you could say that because Vila did last longer than Jaron Ennis, but you know, I think that you can make a case that the Vila fight should have been stopped a lot earlier. And you know, because he decided to go into those late, his corner allowed him, the doctor allowed him, the referee allowed Vila to go into the later rounds. You know, he's never been the same since then. He's a destroyed fighter. He's a ruined fighter. So he may have the same amount of durability as Xander Zayas. The difference is his corner allowed him to continue and ultimately fuck up his career. Xander's team understood that, all right, you know what I'm saying? Let's pull the plug on this shit before it get worse. So they may have the same level of durability, but the difference is Xander had a corner that cared about him. Yo, there ain't nobody could tell me that Vila's team cared about him, how the way he went out against Boots, bro. That was brutal, man. Like those the type of ass whoopings that could get you unalived. I'm trying to tell you, that was bad, bro. And Vila punch resistance hasn't been the same. You know, his approach in the ring is not the same. The aura is not the same. Vila will never be the fighter that he was back when he fought Rashidi Ellis. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I say. Shout out to Nick J, Queens of Boxing Talk. I appreciate you coming through and showing love as always. Shout out to the 60 people that's in the building, man. We just chopping it up. Send y'all questions in. I think Xander is going to move up to 160 pounds and start a new chapter. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. And according to the reports that I'm seeing on the Ring Magazine, they're saying that Jaron Ennis, who just fought 2 days ago, is in talks with Sebastian Fundora's team to possibly get a fight going at the end of 2026. Now, I spoke on this already, so I'm not going to really dwell on this topic too much longer. But I think this is going to be difficult to do, man, just based off of the history and seeing the way that Samson Lucas moves with, you know, Sebastian Fundora. I think there's going to be a lot of demands. I think there's going to be a lot of stipulations as well that Boots is going to have to bow down to in order to make this fight happen. Most likely this will be a West Coast fight. You know what I mean? There's a likelihood that, you know, there's going to be a problem with the networks because Samson Lucas has said in the post-fight press conference with Fundora and Thurman that, you know, they're not leaving PBC. They're with PBC. So anybody that wants to fight Fundora has to come over to PBC. There may be some difficulty there considering that Boots is with the Zone and Matchroom Boxing. I don't know. Maybe if the money is good, I guess, you know, they'll be able to make some exceptions or whatever the case is. Maybe they'll be able to break bread. I don't know. But just considering the past and how difficult it was to, you know, try to get Xander Zayas a fucking opportunity. Terrence Crawford had difficulty getting an opportunity. I just don't know what Samson Lucas I don't know what he's willing to do to make the fight happen. There's just a lot of scary energy over there. I'm sure Fundora would fight him, but at the same time, he listens to his team and, you know, he follows whatever they say. A lot of these boxers be backseat drivers to their own career. That shit is insane to me. I don't understand how they do that. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, as a fighter, I'm putting my life on the line. You know what I mean? I'm putting my health on the line overall. So if anybody's going to be controlling this car that's being driven throughout the course of my career, it's going to be me. It's not going to be no managers. It ain't going to be no parents. It ain't going to be no advisors. It's not going to be any promoters. I'm going to do what I feel like is in the best interest of my career to in order to excel. And if I make a mistake, you know what I mean, it falls on me. You know, I'm going to hold myself accountable and keep it moving. But guys like Fundora and Virgil Ortiz, they're very similar in terms of, you know, just falling back and letting their team take over everything while they just focus on boxing. Not only that, Fundora has stated on multiple occasions that he's not really too big on unifying belts because, you know, these sanctioning bodies aren't willing to work with him. So he's just going to keep his WBC title. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I see this being an uphill journey. But if they're able to make this fight happen, it's lit. But I think the fight that makes the most sense and maybe the easiest to do is the Josh Kelly fight. You know what I mean? Y'all both with the zone, y'all both with Matchroom. You know what I'm saying? Unless Josh Kelly just asks for an absurd amount of money that Eddie's not able to provide or feels like doesn't make sense. I don't know how I feel like that's the fight that should be made next. I think Josh Kelly's about to fight July 25th, from what I understand. You know what I mean? If Josh Kelly comes out victorious, let's get into some negotiations and have them fight at the end of the year. Virgil, for real, should come back and fight Sebastian Fundora. He's the WBC interim champion. Sebastian Fundora is the WBC super welterweight champion of the world. Why doesn't the WBC mandate that them two fight each other? Is it because Sebastian Fundora wants the sanctioning bodies to just let him do whatever he wants? No, man. Let's see one of the biggest fights that could happen at the 154-pound division. Mexican-American versus Mexican-American. We got somebody from, Dallas, Texas. We got another person from, where's he from again in Cali? He's, where they be having them concerts at and shit like that? That's where he's from. Coachella, California. And let's get this shit popping. Y'all can have it happen in Cali, Texas. You know what I'm saying? Las Vegas. That'll be a good fucking fight. And stylistically, that's a fucking banger. Somebody's getting knocked the fuck out. There's going to be blood spilled in that ring between them two. They both killers. They both aggressive. They both like to hurt their opponents. Why not see that fight? Why is everybody just ignoring this fight? I heard Virgil's working shit out with Oscar De La Hoya right now. They should be finalizing, putting something together soon so they can continue working together. I think Virgil got like 3 fights left on his contract. Bro, just fight Fundora, finally get a fucking world title in your career. And then, you know what I mean? You can see Boots, who's going to have the 3 belts. You're going to have the 1 belt. Y'all can fight for undisputed. Why can't y'all do that? Why is this such a difficult fight to make? Why isn't the WBC enforcing Virgil versus Fundora? Is it because y'all trying to keep Fundora happy? I don't understand. Like, just like how EJ Cabello had to sit around and wait for Usyk to be like, nah, I don't want the belts no more. I'm going to leave it alone. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Did we get a super chat? Young T USA with the $2 super chat. My apologies, brother. He says, what you think about Boots adding Philly shell to his game? Boots does have a Philly shell. I've seen him use a Philly shell before. Actually, when he knocked out Juan Carlos Abreu, he actually used the Philly shell. He used the Philly shell to bait Carlos Abreu in. Juan Carlos Abreu threw a 1-2. He rolled the right hand and came back with the uppercut. And he was actually able to drop Abreu. You know what I'm saying? So he definitely has that in his arsenal. But it's just not something that's really consistent with his game. Boots does have good upper body movement. He catches shots really well when he's focused on that as well. So he has a variety of different ways to defend shots. So, you know what I'm saying? He has it in his arsenal. It just doesn't seem like that's one of his primary tools. Boots also has good lateral movement. You know what I mean? Good L steps to throw off his opponents, making his opponents reset their feet. You know what I'm saying? So Boots has a variety of ways to defend himself. And, the Philly shell may not be like the go-to, but, he's proven that is in his arsenal for sure. Let me see what the people talking about. If y'all sent questions, please let me know, man. Let me see. Neek J says, question, why do you think Tank bypassed making a fight with Shakur and went into negotiations with Devin? He and Shakur at the same weight. It seems more like right to make that fight, in my opinion. I agree with you, Neek. I don't think you said anything wrong. I don't really know why Tank bypassed making a fight with Shakur. When you hear Tank talk in the past, it seems like he feels betrayed by Shakur because they were actually cool at one point, and then they actually ended up being in the same division, and then Shakur started calling him out. So I guess he felt like that was disrespectful. I don't know. So I guess Tank is looking at it like, you know what I mean? Oh, you disrespectful, so I'm not going to give you an opportunity. Just diva energy, to be honest with you. I think that's what it is. I think it's a lot of arrogance. I think it's a lot of egotistical shit going on. I don't think he's even serious about the Devin Haney fight. That Devin Haney's a welterweight champion of the world. You know what weight class he fights in. You've seen that he's been willing to go down as low as 144 pounds. But you know what I'm saying? It's just not serious energy for me when it comes to Tank. I think Tank just be talking for the fun of it. I think he genuinely enjoys talking shit. The nigga might just be trolling, but he has no intention on fighting guys. Like I remember he was talking shit about Conor Benn. Conor Benn's team reached out to Tank to try to make the fight happen and never happened. You know what I'm saying? He was talking shit about fighting Tevin Farmer. Supposedly some offers have been sent out there. The fight never happened. Lomachenko was chasing Tank at 130 pounds. The fight never happened. And then he waited until Loma didn't want to fight anymore to try to send him an offer. You know what I mean? Just trying to catch him on his last leg, I guess. Why he not calling out Loma now? Loma said he coming back. Why he not calling him out now? You know what I'm saying? Little shit like that is what we not even talking about. Devin Haney tried to enforce the WBA to make Tank as mandatory. Tank and them refused. And then said how they really 130 pounders when they have a fucking WBA regular title at 135 and has fought as high as 140 pounds. So why fight Mario Barrios at 140 but not fight Devin there? Because you understand who's a threat and who's not. Cherry picking at its finest. Tank, it's really hard to take him serious, man. I mean, Bill said it is serious. Oh, well, then we'll see then. But Devin Haney has made it clear that he's not bowing down to no rehydration clauses, and he shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like Tank, he talk all this big shit, say what he gonna do to this dude and that dude and this dude and that dude, but then behind the scenes, he's, insecure. You know what I'm saying? And he's demanding that these guys shrivel themselves down in weight because he doesn't want to go in there with somebody who's significantly bigger than him. Meanwhile, you are about to fight Jake Paul at 195-pound weight. So you'll fight Jake Paul at 195, but you're not willing to fight Dev, in between 140 to 147 when you fought at 140 before. It's weird, bro. Like I think it's very hard to understand. I ain't gonna lie to you. Shakur Stevenson, on the other hand, I don't know. Maybe stylistically, they don't really want to go through that. Tank is a slow starter. He's somebody that doesn't throw a lot of punches, and with Shakur being a defensive genius, in my opinion, he's not going to give Tank much to work with. And Coach Calvin even admitted that. Why would we fight him if we can't do what we do? That sounds like somebody who isn't confident in the idea of knocking out Shakur Stevenson. And, Tank is somebody in the past who's relied on his punching power to bail him out of certain fights. That's why he started off slow, because in his mind, eventually he's going to catch up to you. So he's going to take his time until that bomb land. 9 times, I don't know. But there's a likelihood that Shakur may not, if he gets hit, it's not going to be one of those big shots that he landed on, like a Leo Santa Cruz or a Rolly Romero or a Ryan Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shakur is going to make it very difficult to land that big shot. If Tank's not able to land that big shot and it's just solely a chess match, I don't see Tank getting the better of that. I don't see Tank. If it's just a straight chess match and Shakur completely neutralizes Tank's ability to land that big shot, I don't think Tank wins that. I don't think he wins a chess match against Shakur. I don't think he's as intelligent as Shakur. Can he knock out Shakur? Absolutely. Does he have an IQ? Does he have enough of an IQ to possibly catch up to Shakur and hit him with a big shot? I believe so. But if the power is completely neutralized, like if Shakur has his card and he's not able to spark him, and Shakur is able to land them counters, and you know what I'm saying? Because if we seen Tank struggle with the counter punching ability of Lamont Roach, I look at Shakur Stevenson as somebody who's a good counter puncher as well. You know what I mean? He may not. I don't know. I don't know who's a bigger puncher between Roach and Shakur. Whatever. I just know that Shakur is a very intelligent fighter, and he's not in that ring to take unnecessary risk. And he's not gonna make dumb decisions. He's in there to win by any means necessary. He's that type of competitor. So if he got to make the fight boring in order to win, that's what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? So that's just how I see it, man. I don't think Tank want trouble with a lot of these guys. I'm gonna keep it real. The nigga just want to get a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? He want to fight guys that he feels like he's, favored to beat, and that's it. Like the Lamont Roach fight, it went the way it went, but shit, that was a cherry pick, man. That was a cherry pick. There was plenty of guys he could have fought at 135 that we demanded him to fight, but he brought up somebody from 130 instead. You know what I mean? They have a history. They sparred in the past. They fought in the amateurs in the past. So he just felt like he had Lamont number. He felt like he was in a power position because Lamont ain't never been at this weight class. You know what I mean? Lamont don't got the best resume. He was inexperienced with a few things. He already had lost in his career. He thought he had the upper hand on Lamont, but come to find out, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Nick J said Virgil coming. I promise he's coming. I would say pause, but you're a woman, so I mean that's bypass. Bellaface said Fundora versus Virgil, great fight. Boots versus Virgil, great fight. But Virgil is still on the sidelines. Yeah, that's the unfortunate situation out of all of this, man. But from what I heard, they're reconciling. That's what it sounds like. They're finding ways to resolve their issues, and I guess they found out that De La Hoya and contractually have some things where it may be difficult to win in court. So maybe they're like, you know what, man, let's just work some shit out. You know what I mean? Let's try to see eye to eye on some things. And let's just finish out this contract together. That's what it sounded like to me. That's what it should have been off the rip. And let me see who said that. Let me see. I just read it. J-Day said fake ass lawsuit. Man, that was court documents. There was paperwork. That shit seemed pretty serious to me, but I don't know. That shit would be fucking crazy if they did that purposely to avoid the Boots fight. That'd be some of the scariest shit I done ever heard. That would be the scariest shit I ever heard of. If these niggas act like they was gonna fight in court just to avoid fighting Jaron Ennis, that is like that. I never heard a duck quack that motherfucking loud. That's crazy. A lot of people think it's manufactured, bro. That's what Naja just said. Listen, with how grimy boxing is, I would not be surprised, man. If it ever come out that shit was fabricated just to not fight Boots, bro, that would be insane. Why Virgil talking shit all of a sudden? I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Virgil need to get his shit situated. He need to get the fuck up off the bench before he start talking about anybody. Xander took the chance against Boots. You didn't. You know what I mean? Boots took the chance against Xander. You didn't. You know what I mean? You used to have yet to fight for a world title. You was flexing being number one in the Ring magazine. But Boots just surpassed you with beating Xander. So now what you got to fall on? A WBC interim title? Why don't you go get that fucking WBC title from the nigga who flexing that belt right now, nigga? Why you ain't calling out Fundora? Like Virgil and them, bro, they done fucked up so many situations. This nigga Xander said, "You want to fight for my world title? Come to Puerto Rico." Oh no, it has to be at a neutral location. Nigga, who are you to decide that? You ain't no champion. You ain't no big ticket selling ass nigga. Where does entitlement come from? You know what I'm saying? Then y'all talking about y'all deserve more than Jaron Ennis, 55, 45, and huh? Well, yeah, I get this. Like, y'all niggas don't sell what Boots sell. The fuck? How you trying to play this A-side role? Because y'all know that if y'all was going to fight Boots, y'all was going to make sure y'all get the biggest bag in case y'all took an L. Y'all had something to fall back on. That's what it sounded like to me. If I'm going to get my ass whooped by this nigga, I need all the money I could get. That's what it sounded like to me. Oscar says 60-40 shit. See, I don't forgot. That's crazy. I think he said 60-40. And if Boots wins, I don't know. I don't know. It was some weird shit that I never heard of before. Check Boots chat. Mark, check Boots chat. Look at what Samson said. All right, let's take a look. Are you talking about the Twitter chat? Because I don't really be on there all like that. Okay. Look at this. So, boy, I'm good. Boy, I'm good. Jesus Christ. So let me pull this shit up. Boy, I'm good. Then I tell y'all these niggas wasn't gonna be on that, bro. These niggas is scary, bro. I swear to God. These niggas need to get the fuck out of boxing. Like Samson Lukowicz and all that, bro. They cancerous, bro. All right, so let's shout out boxing scene, man. Let me go ahead and pull this article up. This is gonna be my reaction. This is gonna be my first reaction to reading this article. Boxing scene staff, shout out to them for putting this shit together. It says Sebastian Fundora promoter says towering Inferno will face Ermal Hadribage in fall. Sebastian Fundora's longtime promoter Samson Lukowicz says the WBC junior middleweight champion next fight will be against his number one mandatory contender, Ermal Hadribage. I guess I don't know. I'm butchering his last name. And any potential unification fight against Jaron Ennis would happen in 2027 at the soonest, if it did. If it did. Sebastian Fundora will comply with the WBC and face his number one mandatory next. I got a question, chat. How does the number one contender get an opportunity before the WBC interim champion? How that work? Shouldn't so who is more obligated? Who like I'm trying to get an understanding for this. How does let me chat now? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT this shit. How do you have a number one contender but then got a WBC interim champion? Shouldn't the WBC interim champion be next in line for the belt in comparison to the number one challenger? Hold on, bro. We gotta do some research, man. Let's take a look, man. This shit right here is crazy. Yeah, he's definitely the number one guy. Now, how the fuck did he get there when we didn't see him fight anybody notable? Let's do some research on this guy, man. Because I swear to God, on my son, I never heard of him. I never heard of him. So he's 23-0 with a draw. Let's pull him up on BoxRec, man. Jesus Christ. He is the number one guy in the WBC. Let's check him out. And this dude, Ermal, is Albanian. These Albanians been getting opportunities, huh? So 23-0 with one draw with a staggering 8 knockouts in 23 fights. So this nigga's not punching at all. He's a 5'10 southpaw that is training out of Miami Beach, Florida. This is somebody who's consistently fought in Germany, fought in Uzbekistan. He's fought in Virginia before. And just looking through his resume, man, bro, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. His first 7 fights, bro, this motherfucker fought 2 people. Wait, so he fought a 1-0. He fought a debut. Then he fought another 1-0, a 3-1, a 1-1, a 1-1, and a 1-7. Then he fought a 12-44, a 15-22, a 8-19. God damn. So this nigga's first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. First 9 fights, 10 fights, 11 fights were against absolute bums. And then when this nigga Ermal is 12-0, he's fighting 5-0s. So this dude 6-4s. Then he fought an 11-0 for, a vacant WBC international title. So he's been fighting guys, at 8-0, 11-0. So he actually got some pretty solid wins, but he ended up getting a fucking no contest. Why is that? Hold on. Hold on. Whenever I see this no contest, no decision shit, my radars pop out my motherfucking head. So let's actually look that up. Why did that get ruled a no contest? Charles, who was that? Charles Stanford. What happened in that fight to be ruled a no contest? Why? Why? So it was not publicly disclosed. That's very fucking interesting. Why wasn't it publicly? Nah, we gotta figure this out, chat. We gotta figure out why there was a no contest. Is this nigga a drug cheat? We need to know. We need to know. He won the fight by unanimous decision, but they overturned it, and the nigga was a 6-4. But I guess he's been beating some undefeated guys, you know, later on in his career. He had the WBC silver. How the fuck is the WBC silver champion getting an opportunity before the WBC interim champion? Am I lost? Why is the WBC silver champion getting an opportunity before the WBC interim champion? Yo, Mauricio got these niggas under a strict fucking program, bro. He want these niggas. So Mauricio don't want to have all these motherfuckers give up these small titles and just fight for the main title. You know why? Because that would mean less money for him. He wants these niggas to stay interim champion. He wants these niggas to stay still silver champion. He want niggas to stay the full status champion because that's 3 separate niggas who's all cutting them checks. And everybody that fights for them fucking belts has to pay Mauricio too. And I know that for a fact. This nigga Mauricio said that Egypt Cabello was happy being their interim champion. He told Chris Mannix that. Nigga, no. Who told you that? No, you're happy that they're WBC interim champ because they got to keep giving you that fucking bread, just hoping that one day you just give them an opportunity. Because Fundora don't want to fight Virgil. Well, he pussy done. They need to strip him. Strip him. Why all these motherfuckers? The WBO stood on it. Was like, yo, you gotta fight. No, well, I don't want to fight him. Oh, well, we're gonna strip you of the title. All right, cool. WBC, Fundora, we will not strip you, Fundora. You're Mexican just like us. You know, just keep paying us these fucking fees and we won't give you any trouble. We'll let you do whatever you want. You don't have to fight Virgil if you don't want to. You don't have to fight Crawford if you don't want to. You don't have to fight Xander if you don't want to. We're going to keep letting you be a bitch. Just keep paying us. And Fundora was like, yes, finally, somebody who understands me. This nigga is a bitch. Anyways, let's continue reading. Sebastian Fundora's longtime promoter Samson Lukowitz says the WBC junior middleweight champion's next fight will be against his #1 mandatory contender, and any potential unification fight against Jaron Ennis would happen in 2027 at the soonest, if it did. So if at all, the fight won't happen until 2027. Sebastian Fundora will comply with the WBC and face his #1 mandatory next, said Lukowitz. A fight with Ennis could happen, but sometime next year. Lukowitz says Coachella's Fundora will face Miami's via Albania's Hyderabad. Hyderabad? I don't know. In the fall of this year. All right. I guess that was all that was said. So, yeah, yo, Boots, go after Josh Kelly, my nigga. He don't want to fight. Are we surprised? The nigga didn't want to fight Bud. The nigga didn't want to fight Xander. This nigga probably bitching to fight Virgil. You know what I'm saying? He want to keep fighting motherfuckers who he has a significant advantage over. And you already in an advantageous situation, nigga. You are 6'6". You are as tall as Kobe and Michael Jordan. You are as tall as some of the greatest shooting guards to ever enter the league. Why the fuck are you so scared? Why is your team so scared for you to be in an even fight? Is it because you got put to sleep against Brian Mendoza? That fucked the money up a little bit, so they not, you know what I mean? They don't want to go through the same situation again and start back from square one. What the fuck is it? You think Eddie gonna let Boots fight Josh? Absolutely. Bro, one thing about Eddie, he about his money, right? That nigga just saw Boots sell out 16K. Sell out 16K. People in the motherfucking Barclays, bro. He know Boots has potential to be. He just cracked that pound for pound list. He just became the number one guy at 154, and he's winning in crazy fashion. His stock is soaring. Josh Kelly, you beat Bakr Murtazaliev, but you ain't no fucking star in the UK. The nigga don't have to save you. He will he will definitely have Josh Kelly beat the fuck up just to make Boots a bigger star. Boots is more profitable. Why wouldn't he cash out Josh Kelly? All right, Josh, we're going to give you this money. I know Boots going to beat the dog shit out of you, take that motherfucking belt off you, and I'm going to profit so much more off of Jaron Ennis after he becomes a 3-belt champion at 154 pounds. So, yeah, he would definitely slaughter. He would definitely sacrifice Josh Kelly to get Boots to be a bigger draw, to be a bigger name. He just signed an extension deal with Boots. He gonna be dealing with Boots for a while. So of course, I could see him sacrificing Josh Kelly to big up Boots. Boots is gonna be his U.S. star. You know what I'm saying? Josh Kelly ain't gonna be no fucking big star in the UK. He already got a couple champions in the UK already. It's a cool business. Hey, bro. Some niggas got to win. Some niggas got to lose. Some niggas got to get destroyed in order for somebody else to elevate. This is a cold game. Yeah, you right. Yeah, it's a cold game, boy. My boy Lorenzo in the building said Mike Copper just said that part of the Boots versus Zayas deal that Matchroom will be the ones to promote Zayas' next fight. Wait, what? Mike Copper just said that part of the Boots versus Zayas deal is that Matchroom will be the ones to promote Zayas' next fight. What's your thoughts on that? I don't know what to think about that. If Zayas is going to be promoting Zayas' next fight, it'll probably be against a Matchroom fighter. I'm probably going to have that nigga fight Ammo Williams at 160. Eddie going to line Xander up with Ammo Williams. They both coming off of losses in their career. This is a crossroads fight. Man, that nigga Xander going to beat the shit out of Ammo Williams, bro. Send that nigga packing. Oh, shit. If Eddie Hearn's going to be promoting Xander's next fight, it's probably going to be against a Matchroom fighter. You know what I'm saying? That's just a shot in the dark, though. I don't know. Trick said WBC, aka we be collecting, bro. Them niggas drop a crazy bag, and then when you don't follow their program no more, how could you not pay us $300,000? How could you not pay us $300,000? We take care that they try to guilt trip you. We take care of the retired fighters. We got the Suleiman fund where we take care of retired fighters. We pay their bills, bro. Respectfully. I don't give a fuck what y'all doing with that money. You could be wiping your ass with it, nigga. You could be throwing that shit in a strip club, throwing that shit in a bitch thong. I don't give a fuck what, nigga, you not getting $300K from me. Point blank, period. I don't give a fuck who the legend is. The nigga should have took care of his bread. Do I love the legends? Yes. Do I appreciate what they contribute to the sport? Yes. They paved the way for us. But I'm not about to, you ain't about to guilt trip me to take 6 figures from me so you can go ahead and take care of a nigga who fucked this money up when he was finished up with the sport. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. Respectfully, I'm in this shit for me. I ain't in this game to take care of niggas I don't know. Fuck I look like. Mauricio Suleiman had a special message for Usyk relinquishing the WBC belt. They are unhappy. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? I bet you if Usyk would have given him a nice little check, he'd have been happy. Man, Mauricio is a very entitled bastard. He's one of them motherfuckers who think that the belts make the fighter. No. The fighter make the belts. You feel what I'm saying? And that shit, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Sometimes when Mauricio be coming out and be throwing shade at niggas and with all that passive aggressive energy and all that shit, bro, that shit be making me just want one belt in boxing, bro. I swear to God. And I ain't talking about the Zuffa belt, you know what I'm saying? But goddamn, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that Zuffa belt be sounding enticing sometimes after I be seeing these corrupt bastards in the sport of boxing just trying to wring out every single dollar that they could get out of a motherfucking fighter. That shit is disgusting to me. You feel me? Like you upset because Usyk gave up the belt, nigga. He don't gotta keep. What the fuck make you feel like he gotta keep your belt? Like this is what Mauricio gotta understand. You don't make the fighter. The fighters made you. The Muhammad Ali's, the Floyd Mayweathers, and everybody that all the iconic fighters, the Mike Tysons, who were able to make. They're the reason why your belt is cherished as much as it is in the sport of boxing. It's not because of you. It ain't because you or your father made the belt big. No, the fighters made the belt. And when fighters get to a certain point, they don't need y'all anymore. That's the reality of the situation. Terrence Crawford got to a point where he ain't got to be paying y'all niggas all that bread no more. He ain't about, why the fuck would he give you? So you pocket watching niggas. You hear about what purses they making, and then you come up with this amount and be like, oh yeah, pay us this amount. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. Fuck, I'm gonna pay you $500K, $300K, $400K, whatever the fuck that amount is, when I could use that to create generational wealth. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. You crazy as shit. So Terrence Crawford went ahead, and I forgot what amount. All the sanctioning bodies accepted the bread that he gave them, except the WBC. That lets you know the WBC think that they think they bigger than the program. These niggas got main character energy. Y'all niggas is not that. Like, yeah, we appreciate the WBC. Y'all been a part of a lot of historic moments in boxing, but y'all niggas don't make boxing. The fighters make boxing. You know what I'm saying? And you lucky, you know what I'm saying? Like, and one thing I could say about the sanctioning bodies is when these fighters are on the come up or they, establishing their name, they do use these belts as bargaining power to, get a bigger bag. Because if you're just a contender, you ain't got no, world title or anything like that, these guys they're gonna be trying to lowball you. They're gonna be like, oh, well, this guy ain't nobody notable. Why should we pay him this much? But if a motherfucker show up with a world title, a WBC world title, and be like, yo, like, I'm the world nigga, I'm the world champion. I'm the WBC world champion. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta put some respect on my name at this negotiation table, and they gonna pay you just because you're a big deal, because you had that belt. So yeah, when you coming up and you got that world title, yeah, you know what I'm saying? It definitely help you get your money up. But I think that the WBC has this crazy sense of entitlement where they feel like, oh, I hope made you some money at this time, so I need this much bread. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. You crazy. I bet y'all niggas don't pull up on Canelo like that and make him pay them crazy ass sanctioning fees. Canelo will tell you eat a dick quick. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's my night. No, you motherfucker. You motherfucker. That's what the fuck Canelo gonna tell you. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Mauricio gonna be like, oh, sorry, Canelo. You can pay us whatever you want. You are Canelo. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. It's my night. Yeah, payday. I know that. Payday. You want payday. I know that. Canelo ain't gonna be giving these. I bet you something tell me Canelo don't even be paying them niggas, bro. Something just tell me that. And if he do pay them, it ain't no crazy amount, bro. Nigga, I just made 50 M's. Nigga, you tripping if you think I'm gonna give you $500,000. Oh, look at this guy. Yeah. Nigga, Mauricio is such an entitled, corrupt bastard. Can't stand that nigga. I ain't gonna lie. They be sitting there with that suit that he probably spent a couple racks on off a fighter's fucking purse. You know what I'm saying? Crazy as shit. I'll be glad niggas like Andre Ward, Errol Spence, Shakur Terrence Crawford be speaking out against these sanctioning bodies, because they ain't shit, bro. I ain't gonna lie. WBC, they the biggest pieces of shit. The amount of money he's getting, he's definitely paying. I bet you he ain't paying what the fuck they try to charge Bud. I bet you they try to charge Cotto a crazy amount of bread. And he gave that belt. You let nigga fuck this belt. Nigga, you crazy? I tried to charge him $300K in 2015. How much money is that shit today? Miguel Cotto was stripped of his WBC middleweight title because he refused to pay the organization's staggering $300K sanctioning fee and an $800K step aside demand for Gennady Golovkin. They wanted that nigga to spend $1.1 million. You want to fight Canelo Alvarez? Give us $1.1 million. Nigga, suck a dick, nigga. I ain't paying you no fucking $300K, and I ain't paying Triple G no $800K. You could have this fucking belt. This nigga Trick said Canelo pays Mauricio with a gift card to his taqueria in Mexico. That's crazy. No, it's not 10% of your purse, Jay. Fuck no. From what I heard, it'd be between 1% to 3% that they get. 10% is usually what a trainer gets. You know what I'm saying? Unless they get a flat fee. It's usually what a trainer gets. A trainer gets 10%, usually. The niggas who be getting the big bucks be the managers. I be hearing some managers getting a third of a fighter paycheck, which is crazy to me. If I was a manager, I would not charge a fighter no 33%. That's insane, bro. How the fuck they gonna eat? You know what I'm saying? So if a nigga make $1 million, you getting 300,000. You getting 300,000, and they gotta get taxed on that million. But these niggas ain't gonna get shit. Then they gotta pay everybody else on top of paying you. That's crazy. Managers be finessing for sure. T said if that fight happens, I got Fundora. Between Fundora and who? Fundora and Virgil? Fundora and Boots? Who you referring to, brother? I just think that's what makes sense, man. Like, I don't understand why the WBC ain't, you know what I mean? Oh, you got Fundora beating Boots. I think you out your rabbit ass mind. And if that fight gets made, I really hope that you willing to make a wager, brother. I'm gonna go ahead and tap your pockets on that. Yeah. Yeah, Jay. These managers be fucking these fighters over crazy. That's why Mike Tyson said, man, you don't need no manager. I mean, get you a good lawyer. That's it. So, man, be your own manager. Just get a good lawyer. Make sure your contracts, in line. That's it. De La Soul says, who do you believe Boots' next fight will be? Ortiz or Fundora? Well, if you're looking at this article that I'm sharing right here on the screen, you will see Fundora's promoter say that this dude's facing somebody else. He's facing some Albanian dude by the name of Ermal Hydrabaj and fall. And according to the article, Samson Lukowicz said that if Boots and Fundora were to fight, it wouldn't be until 2027. And Boots just fought in June. I would love for him to fight one more time, this year. Let that shit be at the end of the year, man. Have me fight in September, October, around there. We about to be in July, August, September, October, November. Man, if he could fight in November or December, that'd be lit. Hell yeah. He could close out the year strong with a good title defense. You know what I'm saying? And go from there, man. He could fight somebody notable. Josh Kelly about to fight. You know what I mean? Try to close in the fight with him. Why not? Fundora the man to be at 54 to me. Based off of what? Beating up an old Keith Thurman? Beating up Cordell Booker? Beating up Fucking Tim Tszyu after he just got knocked out by Bakr Murtazaliev a little before that. Elbowing Tim Tszyu on his scalp and making him bleed out. That's how he won a world title. That's what we talking about. That's the man to beat. The one who gave up a title not to fight is mandatory. Come on, man. That nigga's a pussy. That nigga's a bitch. To me. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't think he the man to beat at all. Them niggas don't want to fight nobody. Duck Terrence Crawford. Duck Xander Zayas. Turkey. Told that nigga Xander get a rehydration clause. As big as the fuck you is, you worried about a nigga being heavier than you. That's crazy. Turkey time for sure. So if that's the case, Boots, try to go ahead. You know what I mean? Go ahead. Get that Josh Kelly fight, brother. Don't even waste your time trying to fight. I don't even know what y'all in talks for. What the fuck we in talks for if y'all fighting somebody else? You know what I'm saying? What are we talking about? If you already got an opponent lined up, if you already fighting in the fall, what the fuck we talking about? What is there to talk about? Boots, get that Josh Kelly strap, please. You ain't got to worry about no rehydration clause, none of that. I mean, get that third belt, close off 2026 with being a 3-belt champion, and go on with your career, bro. If Fundora available in 2027, go get him. If you can't get him, beat somebody up, man. Go beat up Jermell. Jermell out here talking shit. This bum ass. Oh, he ain't a bum. Let me shut up. Jermell, you know what I'm saying? Jermell's solid. You know what I mean? He just sitting on the bench running his mouth, acting like he's still that nigga. Go beat up on Jermell. If Josh Kelly ain't available, go beat up on Jermell. You know what a hype, to me, in a perfect world, what I would like to see? I would like to see Boots fight Josh Kelly, Virgil, and Fundora fight each other, and the winner face each other. You know what I mean? So the winner of Josh Kelly and Boots versus the winner of Fundora and Virgil. They go ahead, they face each other for all of the belts. The winner of Undisputed goes ahead and fights Jermell because he was the last undisputed champion at 154. Then, you know what I mean? Whoever wins out of that, they the man. They the man of the division. If you beat Jermell, you beat the man who didn't really lose his titles by another man. They stripped him. So if you go ahead and you beat the last undisputed champion in the division, or Jermell go ahead and he beat them, then this nigga's a 2-time undisputed champion at 154. And he becomes the man of the division again. Simple. This nigga said, Rocco said, Bud did duck Fundora. You out your rabbit ass mind. You out your rabbit ass mind. You crazy. That nigga Bud was trying to get that Fundora fight, and Samson Lukowicz said that Fundora was injured and he wasn't going to be available for that time frame. And then Fundora came out with an interview and said, "Oh no, I wasn't injured. Oh, it wasn't none of that." That nigga Samson Lukowicz did that shit purposely to avoid that fight with Terrence Crawford. So Terrence Crawford went on to face Israel Madrimov after the fact. Bud ain't duck no fucking Fundora. At that time, when he was trying to, how the fuck was he ducking Fundora when he didn't even have a fight at 54 yet? That sounds super dumb. Bud would have came in as the challenger. How the fuck? How was he ducking Fundora? When Fundora ever said he was? When was he ever actively pursuing a Terrence Crawford fight? Come on, man. That's ridiculous. I think Bud actually put the petition in with the WBO to become Fundora's mandatory. From what I understand, still ain't want no fucking gas. Yeah, Fundora be running protection programs. Crazy. ETC said, "Yo, Mark, did you see the video package Mantron put out earlier? I think Slime was on that motherfucker. For real? Damn, they cut me out and they put Slime in. That's some bullshit. They recorded me like 2 different times. Hold on, where is it at? Where did you see that at, brother? Where did y'all see that at? Was it on IG? The Zone YouTube? All right, let me check that out. Oh shit, okay. Damn, I ain't make the cut, huh? That's crazy. That's definitely slime. Jay Cash. Damn. Jay Cash and Slime made the cut. That's crazy. That's some bullshit. They done recorded me 2 different times, Matchroom and the Zone. Ain't neither one of them get me on there, man. Fuck. I'm hating like a motherfucker. Shout out Slime and shout out Jay Cash, man. Post it in the group chat. All right, I got you. That's fire. I ain't gonna lie though. That's crazy. I just posted it in the group chat. They came up to me twice. Man, what you think? And I was like, yeah, get me on y'all platform, nigga. I'm MAZUMA TV. That's probably why they cut me out. I'll be too real for this shit, man. Hey, yo. That's funny, man. Oh, shit, the fuck is that? Got some shit on me. They said no. Yeah, he definitely did. It was, oh, this nigga too real. Fuck all that. All right, so this is what I read right here. Says WBO ordered unified WBC WBO champion Sebastian Fundora to defend his belts against interim title holder Terrence Crawford. Okay. Both camps entered a 30-day negotiation period with purse bids looming. Instead of forcing a purse bid, Crawford's legal team requested and was granted a 10-day extension from the WBO to try to reach a contractual agreement directly with Fundora's promoter. The two sides could not reach a finalized deal, and Crawford ultimately let the deadline pass. The WBO subsequently confirmed that Crawford would not be moving forward in the division and relinquish his interim belt, which opened the door for Xander Zayas to become the mandatory challenger. So basically, them niggas wasn't really serious about making a fight happen with Bud. That's how I take it. Them niggas was trying, they probably was trying to undercut Bud. You know what I'm saying? They probably wanted a certain amount of money, so they wasn't able to get that shit going. So Bud was like, you know what? Fuck this nigga. Yo. Hold on. And this is what I was talking about. In spring of 2024, immediately after Fundora won his titles against Tim Tszyu, the WBO ordered him to face Terrence Crawford. Samson Lucas publicly stated that Fundora has suffered a severe nose injury during the bloody Tszyu fight and cannot return until the fall. When Team Crawford reached out with an offer to fight in the summer, Lucas famously shut it down, saying he would not entertain any offers while the champion was healing. Because Fundora was sidelined, Crawford was allowed to fight Israel Madrimov for the, I guess it was the WBA, the WBO interim and the WBA title. Then he got healthy. The WBO ordered the negotiation window, 30-day negotiation window between, between the two. Man, them niggas, they was spinning that nigga. They was playing the shit out, bud. They was leading him along like a motherfucker, boy. They didn't want to fight for real. That don't sound like a nigga who want to fight to me. No, when my guy's injured, I will not be discussing any fights. Like, you're a bitch. You sound like Brian Norman, bitch ass, when Boots was trying to get a fight going with him. Brian Norman Sr. and them. Oh no, we focused. No. We're focused on fighting on Michaela Mayer's undercard. We're not discussing anything until we finish fighting on Michaela Mayer's undercard. And look what happened. Devin Haney went ahead and punched Brian Norman in his shit, took his belt, and now Boots a unified champion at 154. Ain't that some shit? You know what I'm saying? So what if he declined the purse bid? Do you know, so what you took that as? Bud avoiding Fundora? How about, so what makes you feel like Fundora would have stood in the purse bid? What makes you feel like that? Because wasn't he in a purse bid with Xander Zayas, and then, he ultimately pulled out and got stripped of his title? So who's to say he wouldn't have pulled out for Terrence Crawford? Yeah. Fundora was ordered into a purse bid with Xander Zayas, but Fundora withdrew from it at the last minute. They failed to negotiate a deal. So they couldn't fucking negotiate a deal with Terrence Crawford. They couldn't negotiate a fucking deal with Xander Zayas. It's a pattern. But you over here trying to push this narrative that Bud avoided Fundora because he declined the purse bid. No, he seen what type time they was on. They was playing hardball like they always do, trying to make shit difficult. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and face another champion. But let's not act like Terrence Crawford wasn't pursuing that fight. When he had this bad nose injury, he said, all right, let's run it. He injured right now. Let's try to get a fight going in the summer. Oh no, I won't be talking about any fights while we won't be going into any fights while he's healing from an injury. So then y'all end up going and negotiating, and then y'all can't reach a fucking deal. So if a motherfucker is constantly not being able to reach a fucking deal with other fighters, it's because they're either being unrealistic in negotiations or they don't want to fight. So Rocco, so you said Samson did an interview and said we're gonna call Crawford's bluff and enter a purse bid. Bud then went another direction. Okay, so why didn't, if that's the case, why? Because you're not paying attention to what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that consistently, it's a pattern with Sebastian Fundora where negotiations fail between him and other elite level fighters, especially guys that are not involved with PBC. So what I'm asking you is, why didn't he call Xander Zayas' bluff and enter and pull out? Why didn't he, get a purse bid going with Xander Zayas and actually stay in the purse bid? He pulled out last minute and ended up vacating his title. Why is that? Because the nigga don't want to fight, and Samson Lucas don't want to fight neither. You can't make a nigga, bro, Rocco, you misled, bro. A purse bid doesn't force a fight. It was clear. Fucking Xander and Fundora went into a purse bid, and what happened? Fundora pulled out of the purse bid. Fighters pull out of purse bids all the time. Frank Warren pulled out of a purse bid with Shakur Stevenson and went ahead to fight Gervonta Davis. Like purse bids, all that shit does is get a, they rule how much a fighter's getting paid. And if you stick with it, you stick with it. If you don't stick with it, then you pull the fuck out of it and you go do something else. You can't force anybody to fight. But you entitled to feel however you want to feel, man. My whole thing is, all right, Bud declined the purse bid. Because why the nigga was a pound for pound number one fighter in the world. You know what I mean? If he's a pound for pound number one fighter in the world, why the fuck he gonna let a sanctioning body dictate how much he get paid? The fuck, nigga just made 20 M's with Errol Spence. Now he about to take a crazy pay cut because Fundora don't want to fight nobody. They try to negotiate on their own terms and come to something. Them niggas ain't want to fight. It is what it is. The fucking trend here is Fundora not being able to make fights happen with elite level guys. And I don't think that's a mistake. If a champion pulls out of a purse bid, he gets stripped. Yeah, that's what happened with Fundora and Xander Zayas. I know that. He pulled out last minute. Xander ended up fighting for the vacant world title with Jorge Garcia Perez. But anyways, we got any last questions before we get up out of here, y'all? Let me know. About to be 1 in the morning. Ooh-wee. Yeah, Fundora definitely ducking. I mean, he's facing he's facing his number one contender at the WBC. I'm just confused because this dude, whatever the fuck his name is, man, I already done forgot his name. This dude's name is Ermal. Ermal is a WBC silver champion, right? Virgil Ortiz is the WBC interim champion. Isn't the WBC interim belt bigger than the WBC silver? How's the WBC silver champion getting an opportunity before the WBC interim? I'm so confused by that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I'm so confused. I don't really get that shit. Trinidad versus Boots, who wins? Shit. Man, don't ask me though. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one, man. You talking about my favorite fighter of all time versus my favorite active fighter today? I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one, man. A Singh says, Mark, does Boots fight in ATL next or Philly? I have no idea. I have no idea what's next for Boots. I think ATL will be a good spot. You know what I mean? It's a lot of black people in the ATL in Atlanta, so it'll definitely be lit. I heard they got a dope culture over there as well. The energy will be amazing. I think Tank fought in ATL, and it was a pretty good event. So that'd be good for Boots' profile. You know what I mean? Just being more tapped in with his people. You know what I mean? His culture, that would be dope. But, Boots has shown a history of being able to sell in Philadelphia. If Josh Kelly is the next opponent, I don't see Josh Kelly coming to Philly at all. I don't think he will give Boots that type of advantage. He's going to look for a more neutral location or possibly even try to get the fight put in the UK for whatever reason. So if Josh Kelly's next, most likely it won't be in Philly. But if this is like a voluntary defense and he's just fighting somebody from either one of the sanctioning bodies, the WBO or the WBA, then, you know what I mean? Maybe it'll be in Philly. De La Sosa, I hope he fight in my home state of Georgia. ATL would be dope. Yeah, I think from what I see, every time they fight in ATL is lit. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But that's how we gonna end this live, man. I appreciate everybody that came through and show love as always. If y'all could go ahead and hit the like button on the way out, that'd be very much appreciated. Let me see exactly where we at with the subscriber count. Let me see. Oh, we hit that 3,600 mark, man. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to the mob. Another milestone. We on our way to 4K, man. Thank you very much for contributing to the channel. Shout out to everybody that contributed with the super chats today as well, man. Shout out to the boy Jalil Aziz. Shout out to Tricks, and shout out to Young T for constantly showing love and being positive in the building, man. I'll be back at y'all with another live tomorrow to continue cooking up on what's going on in the sport of boxing. Until then, hope you guys have a blessed, beautiful one. I'm up out of here, man. Peace.